Breath work. Let's take a standing position. We're going to do our mobilization, get the energy flowing. We're also going to do a little bit of self-massage, and then we'll continue to work on our Qigong movements that are focused specifically on breath. Let's start off a little bit by shaking. And just, if you're comfortable, tapping the heels into the ground. And then just letting the arms and the shoulders free up. And feel that vibration through the bones and through the muscles. Really letting go of any tightness or tension. And you may just feel like taking a fuller breath in, so a full breath in through the nose. And just let go. And do that just a few times. Just what feels good for you in your own time. Making sound if you want to make sound, sighing. Breath in. And feel my shoulders need to let go a little bit more today. And one more, breath in. And let go. Slowing it down. And standing for a moment. Just bring your feet about shoulder width, comfortable space apart. Balancing in a standing posture, so hips, chest, head, that center line. Letting the breath settle. And just breathing easy in and out through the nose. Easy in and out through the nose. And then we'll step out to shoulder width. And let's just start our knocking. So just slowly build up that rotation. That connection from the ball of the foot up through into the hip, into the core, into the belly. And then you can gradually just build up the momentum a little bit. So you're working with the lower body, working with the feet and the legs and the hips and the core and the center. And the upper body, the spine is tall and light and lifted. And you're just tapping hand on the back of the body and on the belly. Our breath is easy, natural, in and out through the nose. Really paying attention to letting go of the shoulders, relaxing the shoulders, upper back, between the shoulder blades. A little bit more momentum now from the legs and the hips, and that arm as it swings across the front just creates a light fist and just taps just underneath the collarbone, just gently tapping. So we're tapping here on the top of the lungs. So in Chinese medicine, on the meridian, the lung points, the lung meridians. So just tapping. And this may be where you feel again you just want to take a slightly fuller breath. Just breathing in a little bit fuller, a bit bigger, and letting go. Slowing the breath releasing any tightness and tension. Front arm, now you create a cup with the hand, and that comes into the shoulder and the neck area there. So that big muscle where we often hold a lot of tension there, getting some vibration, getting some blood flow. Then back down to chest. Back down to belly. And slowing it down into water waves. And here there's just that little bit of resistance, as if you are just moving through water, as if you've got water in front and behind, or you could think of it as the air slightly more dense. Spine still stays long, shoulders still relaxed. Spiraling the shoulders, so that rotation through the shoulders, through the elbow, through the wrists. Spiral movement through the legs. Breath is easy. And then come to a standing position. And we'll do a little bit of self-massage around the face area and the scalp, just to open up, help to open up the airways, open up those nasal cavities. If you've got your glasses on, you might have to take glasses off. And we'll just start by lightly tapping on all over the scalp. So remembering that we've got fascial connection all the way from the eyebrows, all the way over the scalp, all the way down the back of the neck, down the back of the spine, lower back, and all the way through the pelvis, down the legs, all the way to the soles of the feet, all the way to that bubbling spring point. So feel that vibration, sending sensations all the way down the spine, lightly tapping. And then we can come to the eyebrows and just get your thumbs underneath the eyebrow, particularly just in that bit there, a little bit of pressure there, so it's a nice pressure point there, so just press gently, and then you can just straighten out the eyebrows there, a little bit of press there, and then straighten out. So when we're breathing, we've got all of these nasal cavities, not just the nose, all within the skull. And these paranasal cavities, and this is where when we're humming, making sound, we're creating vibration, nasal nitric oxide, so that when we then breathe in through the nose, all of that nasal nitric oxide is carried into the lungs on that air, and that helps to oxygenate the blood, open up the airways. So it's good to get these spaces opened up. And then we can give a little bit on the cheekbones and just maybe tapping gently on the cheekbones. And then in that nose there, we often end up with one side of the nose blocked more than the other. And we know that the nose holding is a good way of unblocking, but also just massaging in this area here. And a little bit of light tapping. Interesting if one side sounds different to the other, or feels different when you get that light tapping. And then we're going to come down to the jaw, so get into that space in the jaw muscle there. And this again, we often hold a lot of tightness, tension in the jaw. So this is where you just let the mouth open. We don't have to clench the jaw closed. Let's get in there and just pull it down. I can have a strange face. Nobody's watching us, are they? It's all right. And again, just really getting massage in there. Lot of stress. It's interesting the points where we hold stress, where we need to clear the blocked energy through shaking, through massaging, through moving, through breathing. And then you can come just behind the ears and just get in there, nice little point there, just rubbing behind the ears. When you're doing this, you might find some points that just feel a little bit tender. And if you want to just spend a little bit more time there, that's fine. And if you feel you want to take a sort of like a release breath, you can always, if it feels good, just breathe in and just let go a little bit more. If we're taking a longer, slower breath, then we're not going to end up over breathing or hyperventilating. So long and slow. And one of my favorites is really just getting to those muscles in the right underneath the skull there. And get your thumbs in there. You need a full breath. Long, slow exhale. And another good one for the jaw, if you take your hands, fingers connected together like that, just clasp your hands together, start shaking your hand and then start shaking your head, and it feels really odd. But just get that shaking going through the body. Often, as we know, a little bit more challenging to let go of the head a bit. So we're not shaking it all over the place, just create that vibration. And then slow it down, slow it down. So when kids are crying and shaking, everything shakes, everything vibrates. Good, take a moment. And then step out into our shoulder width apart, a little bit of bend in the knees. Bringing our arms up in front. Elbows soft, palms facing the ground. Shoulders down and relaxed, long spine. So get the structure right, get your balance right. Breathing easy in and out through the nose. Let's just practice the movement first. out to the side. And then rotate from the shoulders. So shoulders rotate, elbows rotate, palms rotate to the sky. We connect thumb and forefinger. So connect both thumbs and forefingers, bringing the arms back in front. Softness there. And then palms face the ground. Disconnect the fingers. And then again, now let's make this a nice, smooth, flowing movement. So no beginning and no end to the movement. Just smooth, soft, effortless movement. Soaring crane. So you imagine you're soaring up in the sky. And if we now just bring attention to the breath, we're breathing in. As the chest expands, the spine elongates, and then we're breathing out, we're softening. So expansion as we breathe in. And then contraction as we breathe out. Going at your own comfortable pace, but smooth movement, smooth breathing. And yes, if your arms start to ache a little bit, then just take a little bit of a break. So think expansion, so it's not just an arm movement, the chest expands, the hips expand. You feel a little bit taller and more open as you expand, and then you just soften a little bit, you just give a little bit. Two more. And then take a rest. Now I noticed some of you feeling it a little bit in the shoulders. I think a little tip is keep that softness all of the time in the elbows and in the wrists. So we're not going like when we do one of those neck stretches where you're really stretching the arms out, where you feel it. So I think if you keep a little bit of a softness to the elbows, to the shoulders, then it's going to help a little bit. And if they need to come down a little bit more, you can drop the arms a little bit more. Sort of brings the focus maybe a little bit deeper into the lungs. So do feel free just to let the arms drop down a little bit. And then just give them a little bit of a shake out if you need. And we'll go into the next Qigong movement, Buddha holds up the earth, that we've practiced before. So again, this is focusing on breath, bringing energy into the body. Remember that breathing is the first point of bringing energy into the body. We often think of food as energizing us, but actually breath is the first point of energy into the body. A little bit of bend in the knees, palms facing up. Get that nice, tall, strong, but flexible structure first. Practice the movement, just get used to that movement first, palms facing chest, above the head, and back down. Remember, it's a continuous movement, so there is no start or stop. It's a continuous, smooth movement. And once we got into the rhythm, then just bring attention to the breath. So breath in, breath out. And in, and out. And in. Finding your own rhythm, your own comfortable pace. And the breath is just light. Sense that fresh energy flowing into the body as you expand. And then even with that light breath out, cleansing and clearing as you breathe out. Expanding, lengthening the spine. And then softening and contracting. Opening, expanding the rib cage. And then softening and contracting. Let's do 2 more. And then just take a moment just to stand, so bring your feet about shoulder width, just balance. And just noticing any physical sensations, how you felt at the beginning when we just stood. If you feel a little bit more freer, a little bit more open, a little bit more mobilized. And just for the last few minutes, we're just going to do some humming. So you can stay standing if you want to stay standing, practice this standing, or if you want to take a seat, take a seat. whatever feels good for you. We're just going to focus on that very, very light, slightly extended exhale, adding vibration because we've opened up all of this space in our nasal cavity in our head. So remembering that when we create vibration, and particularly when we are humming, we are increasing, and this is showed in scientific studies, we are increasing the nasal nitric oxide in the nasal cavities, in the paranasal cavities, so in all of these spaces that we've just opened up. And that helps to increase the oxygen uptake in the lungs. So we're getting a real benefit of increasing oxygen uptake into the blood. The other benefit with a sound is that it's actually helping to control that exhale. So quite often, if the exhale is a little bit too quick, if it's difficult extending that exhale, it can often be because the diaphragm just needs a little bit of activation. So by adding a sound, particularly a hum, but any sound, then it's helping with that diaphragmatic control. So get yourself comfortable. If you're standing, your feet really, really strong and stable on the ground, that little bit of bend in the knees, softness in the hip, balanced. If you're sitting, again, feet on the ground, but your seat, sitting on that seat is stable, you feel safe in that position. And just tune in to the breath and a really clear physical sensation, a really simple place. You can notice the breath is in the nose, in this space here, because you can feel the air as you breathe in and out. So just notice that for a few breaths. Notice as you breathe in, the sensation of that air just flowing into the nasal cavity. And then as you breathe out, what you may notice is a subtle change in temperature. So as you breathe in, it's slightly cooler air, even if you're indoors. And if you breathe out, it's slightly warmer. And keeping the jaw relaxed, but the lips lightly together. On the out breath, just create a very, very gentle vibration through a hum. Now, my audio for some reason is not working, so I can't hear anybody on Zoom, but I'm sure you're all humming. So you just take a normal breath in, and just on that exhale, and then let that breath, I spoke then, but you would just let the breath back in through the nose. So we're just slightly extending the exhale with a sound, with a hum. And not pushing too hard, but you'll notice you need to just maybe use that diaphragm a little bit more. Just use that diaphragm to come up to help with that sound. So just keep going for the next few breath cycles. So just breathing in all in your own time. And notice where you feel the vibration. So you might feel it a bit more one side than the other side. It might sound slightly different in one ear to the other ear. It's really nice just to play around with that. You could also change the pitch, so you could pitch it a little bit higher, a little bit lower. You could maybe take a slightly fuller breath. A little bit stronger, maybe feel the lips vibrating. So just in your own time, just a couple more breaths. We'll do this again next Tuesday, so I can hear you all humming on Zoom because I can't hear a thing. Good. Nice. And then just to finish off, just taking your arms up, breath in, breath out. And a little bit of a gentle brush down, brushing the head, the skull, the back of the neck, the arms, lower back, down the legs, up the inside of the legs. Give your tummy a rub. And we'll finish there. Excellent. I will see you hopefully all on Thursday. Hope you've enjoyed this session. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day, and I'll see you for the movement on Thursday. Take care.
Thank you. Thanks, Greg.
Bye. I know
Thank
you're
you.
all shouting bye, but I can't hear it.
Bye.
I'll see you